Good afternoon, everybody. It's Nana. We're sitting here in the car waiting on my great-grandbaby to come out of her little kindergarten class. And I want you to know that right here in Florida, it is hot as Hades. It's almost 90 degrees. Of course, we're in the air-conditioned car. We'd just be dying. But I did want to, I talked about the fact that my grandparents had a farm in North Florida, and I spent a lot of my summers up there. Now, without electricity or running water, you think about, okay, well, what kind of little treats did they have over the summer? They had treats. Not what you have today, and certainly not in the abundance that you have today. Or not abundance, but excess. There's a lot of excess. That's why there's so many fat people. Too many calories, too much sweets. Anyway, what they would do is they'd go from the farm into town to the ice house and bring back in wash tubs covered with burlap. We called them croaker sacks, but they were burlap. They'd buy the ice block. We had a hand churn, ice cream churn, and they, had the rock salt. I don't know if you've ever had homemade ice cream or not, but I'm telling you right now, it is good, especially when you don't have it that often, when it's a rare and wonderful treat like it was back in those days. And you got to think, okay, what am I, 86 now? Yeah, it's probably been over 70 years ago. Oh, my thingy's slipping here. Let's see if we can fix it. Not that I want you to watch me, but it does have to be a little more centered, I think. Anyway, so we would wait with our mouths drooling, waiting for that taste of that homemade ice cream. Another thing that we would have, on rare occasion, when they had the ice, there was a device that looked similar to a wood plane, but it was an ice shaver. Had a little thing on the back of it with a flap on it that opened up, and you could shave off that ice, and Grandma would put 1 teaspoon of crushed pineapple in that. And we just thought that was the most marvelous thing in the world, and it was so good. Of course, it melted real fast, but it's not like having candy sitting on the table in the living room for everybody to partake of, or being able to jump in the car and go to the ice cream parlor. You got a freezer, you can have ice cream, popsicles in that. It was a treat. It was different.
What year would you say this would be?
Well, if I was born in 38, so 48, probably be 1948, somewhere around in there.
Okay.
Or earlier, even earlier. And big treat was when I got to go with my grandfather. We called him Grandpa, on the school bus, and we would go over to the little country store at the crossroads, and they had those little Coca-Colas. Back then they were a nickel. That was a treat too. He'd get me a Coca-Cola once in a while. And Grandma made, now obviously there was shortage of sugar, because of the war. And so people had to make do with what they had. And I have researched, and I think what she called tea cakes were cookies. I think it must have been similar to the biscuit dough, but she added a little bit of sugar to it and maybe some spice, and it was sweetened the rest of the way with the homemade cane syrup. And she'd roll that in like that, and her handprint would be on the top of those cookies. They were about that big around, and good. You can't even imagine. I wish everybody had a grandmother like mine that was so on top of everything. She had very little to make do with, but she made a lot out of the little that she had. And with 11 children, honey, she had to stretch everything to the max. And people had, hand-me-down clothes and homemade clothes. And like Tracy was saying earlier, It was a good, rare thing to get new shoes. You wore your other ones out and outgrew them. So I think we're ready to go now, and I've enjoyed visiting with y'all. Y'all, what is it now? It's like, subscribe, and share, and y'all come back.